for pastime activities, having a tour and preparing comments movies with favorites. 3, number 3. And of course, Ben can be the best picture.
Definitely. It should be. Yeah, it should be short. Last question.
Oh, right. It's just to encourage students to speak their mind. Yes, why? So, of these people, which one do you like the best?
The personality.
Yes, personality. Which personality would suit you best? And then why? So maybe you would like Jason because you love barbecues and he loves barbecues.
Which one do you like?
Yeah, regarding barbecue, I like Jason. Regarding movies, I like you.
Thank you. Might just start again. Yes. So hopefully most people have finished this, and a few people have commented on question 8 and 9. After completing the chart, ask your partner, which person would you like as a friend? So this is good because it personalises the activity. So it's engaging the students more, so they have to make a judgment of who they would like as a friend, and then why, to extend it further. So that's good. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Yes, great. Thank you. And I have copies of all these activities, which I'll give Mr. Hani, and I've got them a digital copy as well. So, what do I call you? Because of Monash, I used to call him Mummy as well.
Yes, you call me Abby.
Okay, thank you. So if you want photocopies, I'll give a hard copy to him, and also I've got the digital copies, so you can send the scripts. Okay. Now, the next activity is another interactive task, which is a survey. So perhaps you've done this in your class, but here's one you can do. Another one. So this topic of recycling is quite topical at the moment, and it's good to also get students to think about things like this. So things that they're doing personally in their home to try and recycle and save the environment. So I'll just hand this out. As you can see, we can't see it very clearly there, but it's clearer here. So we've been asking a survey also for students to learn to use polite language. So they don't just go up and say, oh, what do you think about this? They should say, excuse me, I'm conducting a survey on recycling. Would you mind answering a few questions? Because in English, we must use these polite forms. In some languages, they have different forms of the word you. I'm not sure in Farsi, do you have various versions of you? Would you use it?
Yeah.
You would, yes. In English, we just have various versions of you, but we just say use other polite forms like would you mind. So, and there are questions here. So there are 4 people that you need to ask. However, you could have more people. You could just have it to 1 or 2 people. You can easily create this. I created this. It didn't take long. So I'll just have this out.
My t-shirt, they turned into some other forms of shirts. I use them Tell me when you buy a cup of coffee at the cafe. Do you
Charlie, I'm so sorry. This is my mistake. I'll get you the really
I just give them to some people who are in need. We gave them away. Yeah. And when you buy a cup of coffee at a cafe, do you take your own cup or use their own kind of disposable ones? Mainly use disposable ones. Me too. Me too. Okay. And do you print on both sides of the piece of paper or just one side?
After you buy food at the supermarket, how do you carry it home? Basket?
In a basket. How do in a basket individually do you carry it?
Plastic bags. Yeah, plastic bags. All of plastic bags. Beautiful.
So after you have gone through food, how do you
Usually. Do you use recycling bins to dispose of things like paper, plastic cans? You can't use it. But
Albert, you may try a different seat.
Okay, thank you. As you can see, this activity will probably go on half an hour or 40 minutes, and we don't have time now, so we're just stopping it now. But this is a good activity in your class. You can do it exchange classes, which is always fun. So maybe Shreya's class and Yolanda's class can get together, and then students must ask members of the other class these questions. So it just makes it a bit more fun. Also, I don't know if it would be appropriate to go into the local community, but sometimes at Monash we do that. We ask students to go to the campus centre and to ask strangers questions, but I'm not sure in Iran if that would be not appropriate, or members of the family or things like that. But it's good if you can swap classes. I think that would be a great idea. Okay, so now we're going to have a role play. These are always fun for students and gets the imagination going. So again here you can use the flipped classroom. Study the vocab at home and the language structures at home, and then come to class and we do the role play in class under the supervision of the teacher, who can help, extend, help with grammar. If they don't know a word, you can help them. So we're going to do a doctor-patient scenario. I'm going to take, if you could please help me with this YouTube. Sometimes using blended learning, it's good to play something from the internet, a YouTube video. I don't know whether you can get YouTube, but here's just a little clip to introduce the topic and to make it more interesting for students. Role play they've put on with upload.
Hiya,
assessment at Monash in one of the courses, but you can just use it in the classroom, you can use it however you want. So we usually give the students a role play card. So we have student A and student B. On the back, as you'll see, there are two others. One's in dark blue, one light blue, so you can do the other one in class. We give them 3 minutes preparation time, and then they do the role play for 4 minutes. There's various information on the card, so they can use this information, but they should also extend it using other information and not just what's on the card. And then they can swap roles. So here are the cards, and I'm going to give these out in a special way. A good way to get students to interact with other students, not just their best friends, is a numbering system. So I'm going to give each person a number, 1 to 16, and then you must find your number. So in the room there will be 2 number 1s, 2 number 2s, 2 number 3s, and you must find your respective number. So, you are number 1, 8, 9, 10, 11. You are 11. Okay. You are 11. Okay. You are 12, 13, 14, 15, and you are 16. Okay. Everyone else is, okay, so you are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so everyone, the number 1s must find their partner, number 2s must find their partner, number 3s, etc. Okay, please find your partner, and then you can
I think you're 12. 11 is here.
Thanks. Someone who is...
You're 12?
No,
Have you taken any notes? How bad is the How bad is the
This information is just for me. It is changed,
Sorry, can I use
You have the bird. How did the accident happen?
I was making a pot of tea. Now you know that.
medication?
I didn't take any medication, but I had some symptoms.
Apply this bird cream and change the dressing daily. And you can use
Sprained my ankle while I was playing.
when did it get to you?
It happened just after Wednesday.
And is the pain really bad?
Yeah, it really hurts when I try to walk.
Have you injured your ankle in the past? Any medication?
I would like to get better this that workshop, I want to free.
Thank you so much. That was really good and excellent acting ability too. And as to me was, do you do these kind of activities for the whole lesson? Like I believe you have an hour and a half. You can't do it for the whole lesson. Well, you could if you want, if it's focusing on speaking, but in the normal lesson you must teach grammar. Grammar is essential. So you perhaps would start with an icebreaker, and then that's a speaking activity, then you maybe have your grammar, and then you have another activity. So that's actually coming on to the next point. Middleism activities. So perhaps you've taught some grammar, it's pretty intense and they're getting a bit tired, and then even like maybe you haven't quite finished the grammar lesson, but you notice they're getting tired. So there's no point teaching students if they're tired. They're not learning anything. So maybe you might decide, all right, that's enough, we'll cut the grammar now, and we'll just go to a mid-lesson activity. So this is one activity. Actually, we're going to do this in the next session, so we won't do it now, but it's just an idea. So you get students in 2 lines, like there will be 2 lines here. Students are facing each other, and then the teacher calls out a topic to talk about. They talk about that topic for 2 minutes, and then the student from the end, 1 line, goes to the beginning of the other, and then they have a new partner. So we'll do that in the next session. But that's a good way. They're just feeling sleepy, get them up, do some activity, or even a quicker activity if you don't have time. Or you could do it in 2 concentric circles, is another way. Another idea, which we're also going to do in the next session, is do you agree or disagree? So one end totally agrees with a particular question, the other end totally disagrees, and then in between is for and against. So it's just a quick activity to get them standing, active, and not... maybe at the language school they could move into the corridor. Is that possible if they need more room? Yeah. So I think this is good. Like if you just notice the concentration going, there's no point going on. So perhaps just keep that grammar session to after the activity or the next day. And here are just some online resources that I've used. I'll also give you a copy, or Amir's going to send it to you online. So if you just want to click onto any of these links, and you'll be able to get lots of different lessons. Bob's World is one that teachers often use, with lots of lessons for teachers. British Council, One Stop English, all these are fantastic sites. Maybe you've used them before. They're really fantastic sites to get ideas. Sometimes you might be, oh, I don't have any ideas for this lesson, or I want to make it more exciting, so you can just go onto some of these sites and get some ideas. So that's about it. Don't worry about writing them down because I'm going to send it. Okay, are there any questions? We've got about 3 minutes before the break, and does anyone have any questions?
About the flipped classroom, I had one question. You said that we could give the grammar to students so that they can learn it at home and practice in the class. But the students' levels are they might be different. So some students might learn at home, but some not. So what can we do about it?
Well, I think not always. Sometimes, like you said, you have to teach grammar in class. I mean, you can't ignore grammar. It's very important. So perhaps they could reinforce the grammar. Like perhaps you're learning about the definite article, definite, indefinite articles. You could teach it in class and say, okay, for homework, study more about this at home. So they can reinforce that at home. Yeah, not entirely. You have to teach grammar, but it can be reinforced at home. Yeah. Any other questions?
In the role play, as you said, in the advanced levels, we can tell them to extend their answers, but in lower levels, should we tell them to exactly memorize the sentences or try to paraphrase them if they do not remember some parts of? Because after preparation, they're going to just, after role play in front of the teacher, can they paraphrase or shall we?
Oh yes, look, I think for lower levels they have to learn language structures, because if they paraphrase, they may paraphrase it incorrectly. At higher levels, they should paraphrase. Paraphrasing is a higher level, higher function skill, but at lower levels I think it's good to learn language structures, because the language structures would be correct, and then they feel more confident. Yeah. And at higher levels, then they can, like the example we had with Yolanda structure. Even at very low level, you could have a structure. You could have just a very simple role play, even level 1 and 2. You know, you teach them with different structures and then say, okay, learn those, come together, and then they can practice that together. Okay.
About flipped classroom, learning content at home. What can we do to encourage students learning it at home? You know, sometimes we face students that are reluctant, they don't listen to us, they don't do,
It's a problem.
Yeah, what can we do?
Yeah, I know. It's setting homework. Students should do homework. I don't know, maybe you might have a little quick test if it's vocabulary, and just for the first 5 or 10 minutes after an icebreaker, say, okay, we're having a quick test on that vocabulary, and just give them a quick test, and that make sure that they do it. Because I know sometimes students, they don't do the homework. Yeah. Any other questions? Oh, yes.
Regarding what William said in role plays, while you're supervising the students having a role play, do you ever correct them?
That's a good question. Okay, there's a conflict between fluency and correction. Correction is very important because if you don't correct someone's English, they will never improve. They'll just reinforce the same mistakes. So what I often do, I would walk around and I would just write down the mistakes. And then after, not making anyone embarrassed, but I would say on the board, okay, many students I heard making this mistake. Maybe they didn't use the past tense. And then I would write it on the board, and so everybody, whoever does it, I would say everybody is making similar mistakes. You could just incidentally say, oh, it's actually this, and correct them on the spot. Yes, you can do that. Or if you feel, if they're low level and they don't have much fluency, you can do it as a whole class afterwards. Yeah, but both ways are okay. Yeah. Because people have to have correction, but not too much. Like if every second word you're saying, oh, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, then it stops the fluency. So although in a role play they will be making mistakes, you can't stop them every time because that hinders the fluency. But a good way is to note the mistakes and then put them on board. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, so everyone's hungry, wanting morning coffee or coffee or tea. Yes, you drink tea and yeah. I love tea. But I like coffee once a day. When I'm teaching at Monash, we start at 8:30. 10:30 we stop, and I just really look forward to that cup of coffee because it wakes you up and it's like, I enjoy it. Yes, thank you. And I love tea.
Is the break for 30 minutes?
Yes, 30 minutes.
Thank you so much.
We should encourage teachers to use warmers more often in their classes. You know, I have observed so many classes in the past 3 years, and in more than 90% of them, I didn't observe any organized warm-up activity. And I think our teachers need to use more warmers at the beginning of their classes.
So what do you think the reason is? Now many
I
interviewers
think,
here on this.
I think they're afraid that they might run out
Why
of
not?
time. I think they're afraid they might run out of time. But 5 minutes won't go far.
Do you think they know how to warm?
Yeah, I think they know, but maybe the ideas are limited, and we need to have more ideas for warmers and icebreakers.
Actually, I think it could be the start of the lesson that you are going to teach. You know, based on the lesson.
You
of
could
that
design
session,
a
you
warmer
could
based on the
design a
lesson, so
warmer,
much the
yes.
better, you know. Debbie said that it could be related to the main lesson, that it could be, or it could be totally irrelevant. So anyway, you need a warmer, an icebreaker before you start the main lesson.
But don't you think that when it is irrelevant, then what's the point of doing it?
Sometimes it's fun and it makes the students more energetic, and then they feel not bored. They are, you know, conscious and ready to learn the main lesson, even if it's fun and not related to the main lesson. Yeah.
So do you think it's a matter of planning?
Yeah, of course, you need to plan. Even the warmer should be planned. You cannot go to the class and then say, okay, right now I want to have a warmer. What kind of warmer I want to have, I don't know.
It could,
No, you should have a plan in mind, a warmer in mind before you enter the class. Just like any part of the lesson.
Is it the time to go?
And is it better to plan something for warm up?
Yeah, sure. There are different ideas available on the internet. You could choose one, plan for it, maybe prepare some papers or stuff for it, and then use it in your class as a
Come on, join us in a very energetic conversation
You
we're
think it should
having.
be just at the beginning of the class or at the beginning of
Icebreakers could be in the middle of the lesson too. You know, you have a warmer at the beginning of the lesson, then you teach the main part. Then you want to change the pace of the lesson, you add an icebreaker, and then you teach the rest of the main lesson. So it could be at the beginning, in the middle, or even at the end. Sometimes at the end you need to have a kind of a fun activity because you want the students to feel, energized before they leave the class, so that they come back next session with more energy and they are more motivated to learn more.
When you talk about icebreaker, I just remember, it reminds me of new students. When you are newcomer inside the class, you have to talk to them in order to
Break the ice. Yeah, but icebreakers here I think means the warmers that you could use throughout the lesson, not just at the beginning.
I really like the activities we did in this session.
Yeah, they were great.
I thought in the beginning, I thought, are we really going to do this? It'll take a lot of
when
time.
You do it, it's
but
fun.
when you do it, you
Even
don't even
teachers.
notice the time. But you really get engaged with the plan, and then you learn a lot of things that you didn't think you would learn.
Yeah.
I think because we don't do it in our classes most of the time, it's not. This sort of practice helps students activate their knowledge and put them into action. But I think if we do not do this in our classes, they just learn something, but they don't know how to use it. And also, they're not confident to use them outside the class. They say, okay, maybe I'm a learner, and that's not a good idea to use it. So let's. But if you put it into practice in the class like this, I think they won't have any problem.
It is really hard to control because we were good students here and we knew what to do.
But it's possible.
Some students they just joke around and do something
You
else.
don't need to control somebody when it comes to mingling.
It'll be organized. We were about 40 people, but in the class you have just 10. Which is manageable.
I think this kind of activities helps students to use the language communicatively. It really helps.
They can be naughty. They're moving around, just finding somebody to tell him or her something. And has anyone done these kind of things in his class?
Maybe not yet, but we will put them into practice from today. From our classes today, we will put them into practice.
Which one? Sorry.
Come on, we've done a
All
lot of
these
these
activities, all these different kinds of
I always
activities.
do
Not exactly this thing.
The warmer, the warmer and the icebreaker.
The role play was very good.
Yeah.
But the top-notch books, the problem is that top-notch books conversations are so limited. When you tell them to practice the conversation together and then perform it to the class, each student just has around about 3 sentences.
But I think it is said at the end of each conversation lesson, it is said that you can extend with these ideas.
But they don't know how. But if it is long enough, I believe, if it is already there long enough, it'll be much better. They are not able to extend it.
William, why don't you use yourself? Why don't you
Suggest some sentences,
some ideas,
some lines, add some lines to the conversation.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of engagement. If they are really engaged in the activity,
They can add.
they can. It just it comes naturally. That they do that. They want to ask more questions. Something that happened in this class. I was really engaged. That I had a lot of other questions to ask. So it took a long time for us to finish the activity because we were so engaged.
Right.
Engagement really is, especially when you are an adult.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.